a life of violence and bred from lust. True stories of an LA baby. Come on up, Siren O'Brien.
Evening, guys. I'm a little nervous. It's my first meeting of the year, so.
Do it, girl.
FYI, this is pretty heavy, so if you snatch it, I'm sorry. Alright, this piece is called Say Hello to Heaven. And I'm shaking. Okay. He had the best clothes and the best drugs. And he used to do lines in front of me wearing Calvin Klein briefs, as I would wait patiently for what I came for. He was easy on the eyes, and his mouth would curl when he thought he was being sexy, like learned swagger from old Clint Eastwood movies. I would let my eyes wander from his toes to the outline of his cock, to the tiniest bead of sweat above his lips. Those lips. Where had they been? Are they salty or sweet? He was right. He was tan, delicious, and broken. Something I could have, nothing I needed, everything I wanted. Chop, chop, sniff. God, how are you so beautiful? Want a bump? Sniff. Come on, baby, I won't hurt you. He would let out a howl with each line and suck gravel back into his brain as the drip started. More lines, eager chatter. He always called me kiddo, like, damn, you can't wear clothes like that around here, kiddo. Someone's gonna get ya. He'd grab his cock when he stood up, and I would inch my skirt higher on my thighs, my soft, white coke thighs. I'd beg a light, lean over so my tits showed, and I would purr my thank yous. Sometimes he would brush a finger over my cheekbone to push hair back from my face, but he just wanted to touch me. It made me sad sometimes. My coke days were over. We would never fall in love on my terms, but it would have been hard just to fall. If only I would have licked the sweat off the tip of his lip. This is drug culture in Los Angeles. Kiss, kiss, love you, babe, call me soon, see you at the party, ta-ta. We're so Hollywood. Anyone who does it differently loses the perks the dealer is willing to give you if you play your cards right. Or in my case, thighs and tits. Keep friends close and drug dealers closer. But even with all that bullshit, he was a friend. He was down for me. He wanted to be there for me. He would get high out of his mind and stare at me into the early hours of the night as the fear crept up his spine. He would cling to me and tell me I was an angel sent from heaven to look out for him. I would make him tell me stories about his tags, his childhood, the crazy shit he saw on the hustle. He was generally worried about my growing pill infection, how I'd mix opiates with alcohol, smoke weed and cigarettes like a chimney. It always surprised him how fucked up I got. I chased Valium with champagne, Somas with whiskey, Percocets and Xanax, and stilettos and miniskirts. Sex in a package, dead inside, dead on arrival. I never told him about my past, except he knew my parents were dead. That in itself was deemed a tragedy to anybody who knew, but I was okay with it. The real tragedy wasn't the details. It was the product. Me. I'm a lone wolf baby, I told him the day we met. His hand fell to the curve above my ass, and when he leaned in, I tilt my head back so my scent would burst open in his face, like a blooming flower in the night. He pulled me closer, and like an old black and white movie starlet, I collapsed on him. What is that smell? It's driving me crazy, he growled in my neck. Bugari, I whispered. Do you like it? I was never good at faking it for long, just long enough. You spend enough time with someone with enough toys and cash, and they think they can get anything. Not me. He wanted me bad. He wanted a taste. My intellect surprised him and my body teased him, but I wouldn't put out. I didn't trust nobody. I felt like he would break my heart. It was like that. Some people are so beautiful, they just aren't good for you. Maybe I just knew it was a matter of time before he caught a case or a coffin. I didn't need prison letters or funerals. I had enough of that shit. Cement and dirt. Don't you think it's crazy that's all we get reduced to? But after knowing all this, deep down inside just knowing I had to say goodbye one day, it kept me around. The clock was ticking louder and louder, and some days when the sunlight peeked through the shades, smoke twirling between us, I could see his heart thumping through his chest. The last time I saw him, he was thin and pale. He was in the coke game, deep. He stopped shaving his head, and the curls that grew in should have been thick and gorgeous, but they lay flat and thin. He spent most of our time together peeking out the windows, rambling about money and shady fools, a loaded Glock on the coffee table, shiny and heavy, just like his eyes. He begged me to run away with him, anywhere. He has suitcases full of cash and different suitcases full of drugs. We could start over, he sobbed. We can get the fuck out of this town. Los Angeles was hurting him. The arm's length I kept him at was hurting him. Nobody loves a drug dealer. They love the drugs. My solid source was dark under circles and red nostrils like inflamed seashells, fragile, rotting, worn down by the dust, worn down by lust. Our unrequited love was nothing but a chemical attraction, his in the cavity of his nose, mine in the depths of my loins. "Why don't you love me?" he yelled with fright and panic. I wanted to run away so bad. I was so scared. But I didn't want him to know he was freaking me out, so I crawled into his lap and made him smoke a joint with me. He fell asleep with his face in my neck, and I let myself out without a word. He must have been up for days at that point. No goodbyes, just a kiss on his cold, sunken cheek. His drying tears stung my lips and his face, his sad face peaceful like a sleeping child. If I knew I would never see him again or be able to call him, I would have stayed. I would have let him have me. Just be able to remember how he looked on top of me, inside of me. Just be able to say that a man actually made love to me once. I would have told him I loved him. I did. I loved him in my own fucked up way. His death devastated me. I felt responsible. I tried cleaning up his apartment. Broken light bulb, cracked pipes, razors and rocks everywhere, the Glock with one bullet missing from the magazine. I searched his dresser and held the Calvin Kleins to my cheek, but I was really looking for money. Instead, I found a bottle of my perfume and a crumpled picture of me at a party in a red dress. I was smiling big, teeth and dimples. He had drawn a simple heart on the back. I didn't know he took the picture, and only then did I realize this is who I was to him. Angel. This is when the tears came. I buried my face into the briefs and quietly wept, sprawled out on his bed, dug my fingernails into the mattress. I was all out of pills. I had to deal with real feelings. Ti amo guapo, repeated over and over until the white cotton was stained with wet mascara. We were close as criminals could be. There was a large hole ripped open inside of me. All the hours I spent in his apartment in the barrios, chihuahuas barking and children crying, gunshots in the distance, all the times I had sunk into the leather couch, he told me his secrets and thought I was listening. I should have really listened to what he was saying. Maybe I would have heard what he was trying to tell me. Those wild, sparkling brown eyes. I could have left whenever I wanted, but he excited me. He was beautiful. He was dangerous. I felt safe. He would have killed a man for me, and he did, himself.
Yeah.